All right, let's just assume we can. Luis, you hear me? All right, do you think they hear us in the training room?
I mean, I hear you.
Okay.
Maybe
So
maybe there's a delay.
let
Luis,
me
can
let me
give us
go
a thumbs
check.
up if you can
Hold
hear.
on. Let me go check.
He's like thumbs up, down, turn around. All right, y'all. I know we love to have our people pop in as we get going here, so we will. I've got Ariana, thumbs up if you can hear me. Yay! Okay, thanks. It matters a lot, not that it doesn't matter if everyone can hear, but we had a great session in the room today from 12 to 1, and people were staying and hanging out in person for the hybrid experience. So I want to make sure the training room can hear us before we go on. All right, Ari. And now, in the fun of technology, Ari's driving, so she's back.
Okay. Yeah.
And don't worry, y'all. This is the last Zoom meeting of 2025. We have stats and broker risk management coming up for the rest of the month. But let's start with wins and gratitude. Who has a win they want to share? I'm going to start with gratitude for Ariana, who not only just ran into the training room and back, but held the fort down while Nancy was away on the other side of the earth, living her best life, hugging her husband, and spending time with the fam. Ari held it down at the office. Yes, there were other people there. I'm going to just say that, Ari, you are the queen of culture and community for the last 10 days or whatever, 1,000 days it felt like. So thank you for that. Anyone else have gratitude or wins they want to share before we move on? Going once. No one has a win to share? This is going to be depressing in a second. Hold on. I mean, I'm not going to stay here for too long, but all right, maybe in the room, Alicia. Is someone in the room shouting out a
Oh,
win?
yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay,
Where do I go on camera? Right here.
you're good. I hear you.
I want to give a shout out to Luis. Welcome. Um, I love that he is dedicated to sit down with each and every agent out of our office and find out their big why and help them be more successful. Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody can see me, but yeah, I've got some gratitude, definitely. I just wanted to thank everyone in the room that took the time to meet with me. You guys have been awesome. I really appreciate your time. And for those that haven't met with me, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you all a lot better. And I gotta say, I feel very welcome. I felt a lot of warmth, and so I'm excited to be here. And I hope to continue our journey together.
Awesome. Love that. I see that room is very full today. Nice work, y'all. All right, should I do the beep? Beep. Next slide. Welcome, Barbara. I don't know if Barbara's on. Barbara, if you're on, shout out. I sent her the link a little bit later. Barbara just joined us the day before Thanksgiving at the last minute. She actually is also a return home. Barbara was with us years ago. She left and she's been with EXP and she just came back. She is a top producing agent and is excited to be here and grow her business and do more with what she's doing. So welcome, Barbara. If you see her, give her a shout out. Next, we have Ryan. I was trying to memorize it from the slides I looked through before. Ryan Cisetti is joining us as well. Ryan is a North County agent who's been around for quite a while. He has his broker's license as well. And he is joining us from Alan Schafran's team in North County. And he has joined Metro to make the best of his future and do more business here as well. So, welcome, Ryan. Ray, I want to call her Rachel Ray every time, so just excuse that when it happens. Ray has just joined Steve Price's group. She is super excited to be here, a newlywed and from sales, but new to real estate. So welcome, Ray, when you see her. And Jennifer, if I memorized it correctly, look at me. Jennifer Chin has just joined Alicia's group. Welcome, Jennifer, fresh to real estate as well. We're excited to have you. So many happy faces. That's right. Anyone have properties to pitch in the room? That looks like a full team meeting in that training room. Look at you guys go. In the training room or on Zoom. Properties to pitch or listings to share. Going once, going twice. Shout it out.
Listing in North Park that needs open houses. It's vacant and staged, new construction, 1.47. Nice. Okay.
Listing in North Park that needs open houses. Alicia, is it on the Facebook page?
Yeah, I actually posted it maybe 2 hours ago.
Congratulations, nice work. The camera work in the training room is exciting. It's keeping us on our toes. I'm gonna just not pay attention to that at all. Anyone else in the training room or on Zoom have a new property they want to share, or we can keep going?
I have a property in Otay Ranch. It's a 3.2.5. It's listed for $790.
Nice, Sam. Fresh to market, or has it been there for a minute?
For 2 weeks, and then I have another manufactured home for 180, 3 beds, 2 baths in Spring Valley. But how much? Then I have another manufactured in El Cajon. It's a 2 bed, 2 bath. Another manufacturer at all ages, both of them. And then that was listed for 280, 260, 265. And then I have, that's it.
Excellent work, Sam. Well done, Sam and Alicia. Anyone else? Properties to pitch coming soon, or one you want to just share with the group?
I guess I have one that's off market. I just acquired the listing and it won't go on the market until end of March. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhome in Rancho San Diego. Thinking about 580. We're asking, the HOA is 363, I believe. And it's really, really charming. It looks like a little cottage inside. It's really, really cute. And 2 parking spaces, 1 garage car space, and then 1 permit parking. So reach out to me. They're open to doing an off-market transaction. They're moving out of state. So if anyone has a buyer looking in that area, please reach out.
All right, awesome, Corinne. So you said off market till March. It'll go live to open market in March. So if anyone wants to get it done before then, talk to you directly.
Please.
Excellent. Anyone else? Don't be shy. All right, so we should stop now and everyone should go to work and find listings to sell because that's not enough for the amount of faces I see in that room. All right, kidding, kind of, not really, but we'll keep going anyway. All right, give me the beep. Next slide. Yes, next week is market stats with the one and only Ashley Lund. Everyone say hi, Ashley. We will
Hi.
do, it is the year-end market stats, and it won't have the whole year yet because it'll only be through November. So the year-end fully will actually be in January. But when we get into the meat and potatoes of today's session, you're going to want to make sure you're in that room next Wednesday, paying attention and listening, because y'all, there are some interesting tidbits that I'm going to share with you today about what's happening in our real estate world on the macro and micro level. Next beep. How annoying is that? Alicia, do you want to do coaching spotlights?
We'll do coaching spotlights. So Amy Jeffers just closed her very first escrow. And she got a BRBC signed, and Carolyn just opened escrow on her own listing. And Courtney got a BRBC signed with an investor that she's been working with, not just with the SRA, actually BRBC.
Amazing. Congratulations. Huge extra bonus congratulations to Amy Jeffers on her first escrow closing, and to Carolyn. She has put her heart and soul into that listing, and the fact that you're getting your own buyer for it as well is triply exciting. Great work. We're going to have Carolyn talk about the hustle she put in and the elbow grease to make that thing happen at the end of the day. Next year, stay tuned to 2026. Jacqueline, let's talk about escrow 411.
Yes, so next week, not only are you going to want to be there in the room on Wednesday, you also want to be there in the room on Thursday. So December 11th at 11 a.m., Ashley's going to walk through how to build your 411. My recommendation is that you've done the business planning and GPS work to come into this class. Otherwise, it might not make as much sense. So if you either watch the video that I taught on how to get your GPS ready, or if you were there with me live, I'm still reviewing GPSs to help get them dialed in before this session. So if you want to send me your GPS, My email is up on the screen. Send it by Friday so that I have enough time to review it and get you feedback before December 11th so that you walk in with a GPS and you'll walk out with your 411. So Ashley's teaching that on December 11th at 11 a.m. Be there. And there were so many faces, I had to just do one slide with everybody because we are so excited for everyone on this slide. All of these people have open escrows in December. So congratulations to Maria, to Trisha, to Mike, to Judy, to Sam and Yanni, to Lynn and Rose, to Emily, to Kelly. Y'all, well done. And some people start to coast in December. So big kudos to these guys. They're still working hard. So congratulations to all of our December escrows that are open with escrow partners. And I think I have one more. So we did this a little bit different this month. So it's the beginning of the month, which means we're starting December. That means November data is available instead of customizing them for you, because I know sometimes it was like, oh, did you get my email? When can I get that done? I did something different. We're trying out something new. I pulled the market stats for all of San Diego County and I posted it 1 minute ago through the magic of scheduling a post. It should have posted on Metro's internal Facebook page. So this market report has been updated for November 2025 and is there. All you have to do is go take that picture that I posted, download it, and then just add your name and DRE. Please put your contact information on there. And if you have an additional logo, oh, good. Sarah's confirming that it was indeed uploaded to the internal Facebook page, but it's there. So that way you guys can customize it however you want. If you don't want your photo, don't put it on. If you do, great. And in the post, I reminded you guys that through KW, so if you go to canva.kw.com, because you're with Metro, you have access to Canva Pro. So then all you do is you just slap that photo in and then add a photo or contact or anything. If you have a special slogan, it's up to you. But the data's in there. It is countywide data. I pulled it this morning from SDMLS and it is live and there for you to do immediately after the team meeting. Have fun with it.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That's lots of good stuff. Well, before I throw to Robert for broker update, I want to add in the other
Sarah,
session
Corinne has
that
a question.
I didn't add the slide for, I forgot. I'm so sorry, Steve. Steve Price is teaching the power of negotiations. I've called it all sorts of really fun things. I'm not allowed to say commissions, apparently. I got in trouble from Broker Bob. I get in trouble too. So this came about because he was talking about hearing people have negotiation struggles and the strength in what he does in his business. He is consistently in the top 3 in our agents all the time. And I really think everyone just needs to remember, if you're free tomorrow from 1 o'clock, we put 1 to 2. He probably will only go like 1 to 1:40 and then use the last 20 minutes for questions if you have them. Any chance to learn from one of our tippity top producers on something that they do really strong on their business is something you want to get in the room for. So put your booty in that seat tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Steve's negotiations class. Corrine, what was your question?
Just going back, thank you. Going back to what Jacqueline was saying, where can we find the video of the GPS, just in case we want to review that class again?
Great
I will
question.
go ahead and repost it in the Facebook group.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
And Jacqueline said it very politely, as she would, and I'll say it in a different way. If you didn't watch the GPS video, coming to the 411 class is just going to be like nonsense to your brain. So just watch the video. You don't have to have a fully executed plan, but at least have thought your brain through it. Today might help with that as well. And then you'll be ready to go. Because y'all, it's December 3rd. Like, we are in the 12th chapter. We're done playing around. It's time to get serious. Okay, Broker Bob, give us the update.
Thank you, Sarah. Hopefully you all paid attention to the email I sent out yesterday to remind you that AB 723, which is the digitally altered images disclosure requirement, takes effect January 1st. What does that mean? Any photo that you advertise in the MLS will have to be clarified that it's digitally altered. And last minute, they just added this in Sacramento. It also includes digitally enhanced photos of agents. So Corrine, your digitally enhanced photo, you're going to have to take off and just take a plain, no filter picture for all your marketing and advertising.
What filtered image do you have?
Just kidding. Now, how do
The one is a zombie that you made.
especially I'll keep my mouth shut. But how does it go with our MLS? We don't know yet because the MLSs don't know how they're going to do it and how they're going to operate it. So my point is, don't worry about it until we hear from them. So, but if you have something that has virtual staging or you completely altered a photo, it has to be clarified in the MLS. But how we're going to do it, I don't know. So we'll see. Keep your eyes and ears open. I'll let you know as soon as I know. And that's it. Back to you.
Thank you, baby. That is wild, wacky, good stuff right there. Y'all, in my MLS historically from 100 years ago, we had that on the East Coast, and it was even like if you enhance the grass color, like the lawn looks like garbage, so you turn to green, digitally enhanced grass color here. Okay. It is my last chance to pour into everyone in a recorded vessel for December at large scale that will live on forever and ever. I'm not really being that dramatic. It's just fun. So today I was thinking about in planning for today, I was thinking about like what is the most important thing for this last session of the year, the first week in December. We've been through business planning. We've had Ashley sessions. We might have seen Jacqueline's GPS planning. You're getting ready for your 411 next week. A lot of times we feel that calendar compression when we have Thanksgiving so late in the month. And then we have, if you looked at your calendar, there's only like 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which can make us just sort of go into an overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So I wanted to simplify and give us 3 keys to success for 2026. There's so much in the world that you could get distracted by. And the reality is, I want everyone to go simpler. I've stopped sharing all the MREA podcasts on large scale with the group. I've stopped sharing playbooks on large scale with the group. I've stopped sharing so much of the amazing things that we have value offered to us here at KW. They don't not exist anymore. I am sharing things direct from KWRI, but what I've learned from hearing feedback from you all is sometimes it makes you feel like a squirrel and that too much is really too much. My grandfather told my mom that too much of anything is too much. And you're like, is that true? Wait. Yeah, at some point it tips the tipping point. So you're not seeing that come out on large scale for me anymore consistently. It does still exist. The podcast still exists. The playbook still exists. You're going to get some more, we'll announce it the rest of the way next week, but you're going to get some more niched coaching opportunities for learning, for strategizing, and simplifying. We need to start doing less to do more. We need to stay really focused on what we're good at, what we're attracted to. We have agents who only call expireds and cold call. We have agents who only door knock. We have agents who would be like, if that was how I had to do my business, I would definitely not do this no matter what, right? So I want you to hear clearly, whatever's your thing should be your thing. So we're going to go to 3 keys to success. And listen, just bear with me with the whole screen share thing, you guys, because I know how to share my screen, but when you're like presenting and it gets weird, so let's just give it a go and see how we do the screen share. Wait, I have to share sound too, because I might share my video. Great, this is great. Okay, is that big enough, the slide, or do we need it to be in presentation mode? Jacqueline or Robert, you answer because I can see your faces. Is that slide big enough like that, or do we need to go to presentation mode? It's big enough? It's sort of big enough? Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this so I can see you guys. If you hate it and you really feel like I need to go into presentation mode, I will. I'll have the slides that I can share off after, but I really like to see everybody and not just go into the void of despair when I'm on here with y'all. So 3 keys to success. Use that chat if you'd like it. Other people can see it that aren't me. Let's jump in. Okay, so what do you think we're going to talk about today? Anyone have any ideas if I said 3 keys to success? I mean, I know you can kind of see it if you have really good vision, but if we're saying like 3 keys to success, like what do you think that might be in the world of your real estate business?
Consistency.
Ooh, consistency. I like it.
3, I would think lead, leverage, and listings.
Lead, leverage, and listings. Good. These are good answers. Look how happy my mama is being about this. Okay.
And how to finish strong the year.
How to finish strong the year. These are all appropriate, amazing answers. And when I had to focus on 3, it wasn't necessarily simple for me, as many of you can imagine. I want to be really clear. This is your actual life you are living. This is your actual business you are building. This is not my business you are building. This is nobody else's. It's your life and it's your business. It's different and it's yours. And I want you to own it. I want you to understand that at the core of your being and really move through it. Let's look at what I decided today's 3 things are. The reality of the market, the reality of your money, and the reality of what you are calling work. Okay? Am I glitchy?
No.
Okay. So we're going to dive into all 3 and talk about them for different periods of time. Let's just jump in so we don't run out of time. Agent conditioning. I talked about this a while ago. Agent conditioning came up in our post-COVID world. Here's a fun fact. COVID was almost 6 years ago. We are closer to 2030 than we are to COVID time. So while mentally we might still harken back to that and 2% interest rates, all those things, I want us just to understand we are evolving and we have moved on, as we always do as humans. Agent conditioning. The market creates a condition and then agents live inside an echo chamber and continue to bring reality to the condition they first started talking about. This cycle continues until new learning or reality disrupts it. What is our current agent conditioning? Is the market easy and fast?
No, the market is difficult and slow.
If I ask someone who's having their best year ever, would they say the same thing? Maybe, maybe not, right? They might be going through difficult and slow and just getting through it anyway. There's not right or wrong. And that's why I wanted to, I think that was Stephanie, like, thanks for shouting out. Agent conditioning is whatever you're creating in the echo chamber you're existing in about it, around it. It's true for everything, any conditioning you exist in. And agent conditioning, it's about the market and what you're making true for you. For most people, it's hard, it's slow, it's treacherous. I mean, I had text messages with agents on our top 10 list that included curse words this week, y'all. Like, it is, it is real deal. And some people might be having their best year ever, and that's not true for everyone. And either way, we have to just move through it. So, what is the current reality of the market? There's a couple of nuggets I want to drop here for you to understand. These are macro level. We've had 6 months of price reductions at a rate of 40% or more on a macro level. 6 months straight, 40% or more. That means 4 out of 10 listings are having price reductions hit them. This tells us that agents are not learning how to adjust to the market. I want you to think about your business. Does this feel true with your clients? If you are selling based, do you have listings that are reducing? If you're buyer based, do you have buyers who are making really great deal offers and getting them through, right? It's not right or wrong. It's just the reality. This slide is from Housing Wire. This is from the Wednesday of last week. So it's not old and stale. It's November 2025. It's from Wednesday of last week. The percentage of properties with recent price reductions. Because if I say 4 out of 10 are reducing, you might be like, well, I don't know, what's normal? Like, is that weird? Is that not weird? If you look at the burgundy line here is 2025, and this dotted line here is the 40%. This is the 41.2. So for 2025, we've been holding over 40% for all this time, right? 6 months. Look at other years. That's how you get the comparison. The next one down is 2022, 2024, 2023. When things feel different, or you want to know, like, am I basing myself in reality of today's market or in reality of my memory of what the market might be or has been? Again, it's not right or wrong. It just is factual, right? If anyone has questions as we're going, shout it out or write in the chat or send up a flare. Okay, so this isn't emotional. That's a really important part. It's factual, and don't insert emotion where it doesn't belong. If that sounds bossy, it's okay. Because when it comes to your business, it's about dealing with the data and understanding how we move through it. Here's another interesting one. We had the most properties taken off the market in September of this year than any other time in the past 8 years of real estate on a macro level. Now, bullet two, on a micro level, if you've seen, Ashley has pointed out the high number of properties taken off the market in stats consistently for a couple months now, right? This tells us to be aware of what many of us know and what some of us don't know based on time in the market and what we do. Buyers don't always buy and sellers don't always sell. So being attached to that outcome and keeping your pipeline smaller because historically you converted at 100% or 90% or whatever it was, worked for you before. Where I want you to be mindful of it is it's not you, it's a macro huge thing. To really have the awareness, you're like, September, that feels like 12 years ago. It's only a few months ago. But for September, any other month of time in the past 8 years, that's a big window. Should I look at the chat? Ashley, you tell me if I need to look at the chat. All right. I see chat things happening, but
You're okay. Bridget says you're a liar. The condo market doesn't care about pricing right, but it just is we're still trying to figure out what pricing right is in the condo market. It's just
Okay, I'm glad Bridget pointed that out because she was on our super secret top agent mastermind this week, and she said that the appraiser actually was like, "Whoa, what's with this strangely low price?" And while we can often say we haven't figured it out, what we can do is know. We go back to your stat session a couple of sessions ago, and I don't know if it was last month or the month before, but Chris Spade offered out the case of the house I listed for $1. And it ended up being priced around 1.1. And that's where his people would have offered, and that's where all the offers ended up. So be mindful. And condos are a different animal in a lot of ways. So I'm not here to say people are right or wrong in that way. What I want you to think of is that when we start to fight, like, no, my people said, like, no, my price is good. And not if you don't have any offers, it's not good. Not if no one's buying it, it's not good, right? So if you are a seller, this is another question that came up this week. If your seller has time, and they would rather hold it for a longer period of time because that's okay with them. I'm not saying go put every listing you have on the market for $1. Please don't hear that. You have to know your client, know their why, know what's important to them. At the same time, do you know that buyers don't always buy and sellers don't always sell? Do your clients understand it? Do we know in that meeting how the journey looks? And do we understand the importance of pricing? It's always the importance of pricing now more than ever. It's always the most important thing. So again, this is understanding the first thing on the keys, the reality of the market. There's other listings that are getting multiple offers. It is what it is based on area, desirability, all those pieces, right? Okay. Here's another interesting one. By the end of 2026, we will have more people with a rate over 6% than under 3%. So why do I care, Sarah? It's the end of 2025. Why are you talking about the end of next year? I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone 12 months from now. Because when we talk about interest rates and mortgage applications, which we will in a moment, many people are saying, and Jerome Powell is nearing the end of his time, and the next person that's going to be appointed is probably going to want to be a hero. And what will that look like? This isn't political. I don't have a crystal ball yet. There's certain breadcrumbs on the trail. So for many people who are saying that reducing the interest rate is the answer that will come, but I want you to realize that will come with another rate freeze problem on a grand scale, right? What's most important about this piece of the puzzle, y'all, is how many people had people that said, when the rates go down, I'll be ready. Hello, they're at like 6.2, right? 6.1, 5.99 on a 15-year I saw this morning. Like, define down and define ready, and are you talking to them? Because if you're not, as the leader and advisor for them, checking in and saying, hey, I remember when we spoke when the rates hit 7.5, you said once they're down near 6, I'll be ready. Knock, knock, ding dong. It's time to be ready, right? I want you to hear that the focus on building a large database and pipeline that gets continually cultivated is more important now than ever. Questions? Understanding? Are we good? We'll peek at the chat for a second. Yep, exactly. So, okay. Here comes the good news. More people applied for a mortgage in the last week, current time, last week, than any other week in the last 2 years. Do you have more buyers right now than any other time in the last 2 years? Do you have more clients right now out there looking than any other time in the last 2 years? Are you in the mix of happiness? Are you getting your share of the good news? See, if we go back to the part I just mentioned about once rates go down, I'll be ready. This tells me that some real estate agents are doing their job. Or some mortgage companies have really great marketing and advertising and are getting in people's faces. Either way, more people applied for a mortgage in the last week than any other time in the last 2 years. I want you to hear these statistics loudly and clearly. More consistent price drops historically right now. More homes taken off the market in September right now. And yet right now, in this current moment, more people applying for a mortgage in the last 2 weeks, in the last week than any other time in the last 2 years. Again, reflecting, do you have more buyers? Do you have people looking? Are they out there and are they ready and are they working with you? Questions? This will be interactive, even though it might feel like I'm yelling at you in the training room. Okay. So, hold on, I see the chat popping up. Sure, especially for rates to up more. Yep. Okay, so when we look at this little statty stat here, get out of the way. This is again last week's statistic from Housing Wire, national single family inventory. 2025 is not this top one. They're color coded. So 2019 is the tippity top one. 2025 is right here where we have taken a slight dip, fine, but look where we are historically. When we think about the reality of the market, and again, this is macro and Ashley brings us micro. She brought it to you last month. She'll bring it to you next week as well. We are seeing a similar story in San Diego specifically. I want you to understand if you're looking for joy, y'all, here's the joy. Every other year going back to 2019, we had less inventory than we do right now. So how are you telling the story? Are you telling the story that like, oh my gosh, there's so much inventory, nothing's selling, prices are dropping? Is it doomsday or is it opportunity? Because whatever reality you're casting around yourself for your clients and for you is going to be true for you. So yes, inventory is up 15.5%, but we are not Florida. Like we are not the states that are like going buck wild, everyone's leaving en masse and everything's crazy. Inventory still, if we look at the absorption rates, Ashley shares. If I was really awesome, I would have like cut those slides in here too. I'm only marginally awesome. I did not do that. I want you to hear Housing Wire, macro level, look at it. This visual should be meaningful to your eyeballs. We are up to where 2019 was. We are still not quite there, but these lines are getting close to getting married by the end of the year here. Questions, thoughts? Okay. Good news. That's more good news.
Very inspiring.
Okay. Mike Law, did you talk out loud on purpose? Let's mute Mike in case he's not doing that on purpose. Okay. So let's get to number 2, the reality of your money. Money is good for the good it can do, right? If you came to Ashley's business planning sessions, we did a lot of the money conversation because we need to know what we're working for. So here's a refresher. When we look at the lid, the law of the lid, here's just your glimpse. You'll have these in the slides. If you didn't do that work yet, I need to go back and look at it. This is your lid. This is your numbers. What goes into your lifestyle, your investments, and your debt? Do you actually know the answers? If you don't, y'all take the time to go through. It might not feel fun. It will pay off dividends. If you haven't gone through your bank statements, your credit cards, all the bills that are on the counter that you haven't opened yet because you don't like them, like all whatever those things are for you, take the time to go through it and make your number true and real for you, because this number matters very, very much. I think we have enough time. I want to play a clip of an interview that was just released last week as well, when we look at money and what it means to be successful right now. For so many people, it's been this six figures push, right? And we'll talk more about that over the next week as we lead into stats as well. And we have some exciting stuff coming for the six figures push. If you are a family of four, or if you are a single person or a couple with no kids, or whatever the case might be, those numbers are going to all hit a little bit differently. And I want us to really focus on the money portion, because if you're, again, the current reality of what you need, what you want, what you're working for, and are you insulated against the problems that might come your way, do really matter. I'm going to play this video clip for a moment. And did it switch screens for me? It did, okay. And I think I already pressed the share sound button, so let's see what happens.
$100,000 a year be the new definition of poverty in America? One longtime financial strategist is arguing it should be. Again and again, we know that Americans say they cannot make ends meet with the current cost of groceries or housing or childcare, among other things. The U.S. poverty line was developed 6 decades ago in 1963. And this is what it looks like today. The federal poverty line for a family of four here is $32,150. But strategist Michael Green argues the poverty line should actually be $140,000. And he joins me right now. Michael, you're a portfolio manager and chief strategist at Simplify Asset Management. And you wrote a Substack titled The Valley of Death, Why $100,000 is the New Poverty Line. How did you get to this point? What is it that you saw that said, we're calculating this wrong?
Well, I have to confess, this has been a voyage of discovery for me. I'm very fortunate. I've been well beyond this point. I understand how fortunate I've been in that, but I'm seeing more and more people struggle. We're seeing it in the sentiment. We're seeing people who are truly depressed and unhappy about the direction that the country is going, even as all the indicators are suggesting everything is fine. There's two ways of approaching that. You can try to tell people everything's fine because the economics tell us everything's fine, or you can actually look at the data and understand what is actually happening. In the United States, the way we define the poverty line is an archaic measure. It wasn't supposed to be 3 times food. It was supposed to approximate the entirety of a family budget in 1963, and they extended it because it was easier to track food prices. Today, we haven't updated that balance. All the metrics that we're ultimately looking at are simply 3 times that food budget. We're an agricultural superpower who opened up our food markets. Food prices have not kept pace with general inflation. And as a result, all those other components, housing, education, childcare, et cetera, have exploded underneath us, and we've denied that they exist.
You talk about
with general inflation.
So I'll cut the last minute and a half and I'll share the link for anyone who wants to see it. But the visual is very strong on this, that for a family of 4, what are we working towards? And I want you to think about your lid number, and are you being real with it? Because if it's not in this ballpark and you are a family of 4, it's really important that you truly scrutinize your numbers and find the reality in there. And I realized, like, that could sound a little doomsday the way he was presenting it. This is a reality moment. Again, the 3 realities that we're talking about and our keys to success for next year. So I want you to be clear on your reality of your budgeting and your planning. And are your numbers for sure, or are they something you're living with historically that used to serve you and don't anymore, right? Are you still counting like diaper dollars and now your kids are in dance? Because y'all, I thought diapers were expensive. Dance is so much more expensive than diapers. Holy guacamole. So let's get, did someone say something? Okay, let's get real and get right on that. And if you didn't do this part of the work, you can't set yourself up for success in 2026. If you don't know your numbers, it's impossible. You might, okay, it's not impossible. You could by chance and luck happen to get there by random happenstance. It's not likely, right? And you're going to have your booty in the room next week for Ashley's 4-in-1 class, and you're going to understand that at a very high level. So, questions for you, not to all shout out at the same time, but to think about and reflect. Have you accomplished all your goals year to date?
No.
I know a few people I know have. A few people I know are having their best year by far at a really high level, and it's amazing to be part of. That's not true for everyone, right? If you had accomplished all your goals in 2025, what would be different in your world right now? On December 3rd, 2025, if you had hit every goal you set for yourself this year, what would be different right now for you? These are the ones that we often jump through and jump past and go like, oh, I'd feel great. Next, if nothing changes, okay. I want you to really sit with that and be true about it. I started journaling again this morning for the first time in quite a while, and it's my commitment to me that I'll be journaling. Funny, if you coach with me, you know, I tell all my coaching clients, you better be journaling. It's how you know what's happening inside your head. And it hasn't been true for me. So when you're journaling, answer these questions. Either you have accomplished your goals year to date, and how does that feel? Or you have not accomplished them year to date. And not you haven't, and how does that feel to make you have shame? We don't need Brené Brown to come yell at me about that. It's if you had accomplished them at this point in time on this day, what would be different for you? Be mindful of the words and how you answer the question, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. I know you're worth it. Do you know you are worth it? Do you really know you are worth it? That's another one. If you go internal on it for a moment, if you do the work for the law of the lid and you do the work for the financials and you answer your own questions about your business, you can get to a point where you think, well, this has always been enough, so I don't need that much. What would I even do with that? Be mindful of how you talk about it. Okay. The third key, the reality of what you're calling work. Y'all know I put those in quotes with love and respect and joy for all of us. And one of my favorite things to say is, if I was following you around for the week, would you be working 40 hours or 30 hours or 20 hours? If you were punching a clock for yourself and the only way you got paid was when you punch in and out, how many hours have you truly clocked in the last week or month or on average, right? What are we calling work? So let's be really mindful about it. I want you to have thoughts around this part. I want you to pour into you. You are the business owner. These 4 questions are also meaningful to answer for yourself in the moment in your brain right now, and as you plan forward before you get to next Thursday with Ashley. What have you focused on to work your business in 2025? Meaning your database, open houses, events, sphere of influence, expireds, like investors. What are you focusing on? That's in one of those categories. Number 2 is, does it bring you joy? And I had a learning moment with one of our top agents when I was pushing a little bit on the what brings you joy part. And this agent, we couldn't really get to terms on it. And then we had a call. It was only the last week or two. And I said, you know what? I realized the joy for you comes from the money. And it doesn't have to come from the source of lead generation, because you're neutral to that. If the lead generation source will give you the closings, that brings you joy. Okay. So I'm always learning. I'm not needing to impact my thoughts, and like, just because I wouldn't do it doesn't mean you wouldn't do it, right? So does it bring you joy? You might get the joy from the money that comes from it, even though it's not your favorite thing in the world to do, but you don't care because you love the result, right? Number 3 is, what does bring you joy? If you've answered those first 2 and you're still like, oh, I'm not really sure, maybe you're someone who's been doing open houses at a huge scale because that's what you've been taught would get you into success, and you don't think you want to be doing any like expired calls or door knocking. Well, there's still about 3 playbooks full of 100 and something pages a piece of different ideas to get into success. So if what you've been doing isn't working, what does bring you joy? And if you need ideas for business playbook thoughts, not for other things about your joy, I don't want to know about all that, but then I will be happy to have a conversation with you about it. And then the fourth part is how can you make that thing your focus for business in 2026, right? So when we reflect on what have we been doing, is it working? Is it serving us? What will we be doing going forward? A lot of this is things to think about over the next few days. Okay, we're almost done. You're making it through. I promise this is going to get good in a second. Better in a second. Good for this segment in a second. It's all good. How big is your database and how big does it need to be? This is not a new conversation. This is an old conversation, in fact. I could have very much said database, database, database as the 3 keys to success in 2026, right? Your database is your only thing you own. It's your only thing of value when you remove yourself from the business. Let's look at this for a minute. We know historically 3 to 4% of Americans age 18 and over buy or sell real estate every year. That's just facts, right? In 2025, there will be, if we continue on the trajectory for the next 3 weeks, 4.1 million closings times 2 sides per closing. Who else was tripped up when you first learned that? I was like, times 2. Why are we timesing 2? Oh, buy, a listing, and a buyer. Okay, good. So 4.1 million closings times 2 sides per closing equals 8.2 million transactions. There are 258.3 million adults currently in the US citizens. If we take 8.2 million transactions and figure out the percentage from 258.3 million Americans, it's 3.17% of adult Americans will have bought or sold real estate this year. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, some people bought or sold multiple times, so they're not really okay. That is 1000% accurate. And yet, on a grand scale, it's not like a few people who are doing it all the time. Fair? So if we use the number 3.17, or if we use 3% to be conservative because 4% is not conservative, and even in the most exciting years of the big transaction years recently, I think it was 5%. It's not a staggering difference when we think, Ashley or Jacqueline, do you remember what the number is, what the percent was in like 2021 and the big deal numbers?
The big years were 6.1 million sides. So yeah, it's kind of a big difference. It's a third more. If you
But
look
when you
at
look at the percent of total people, so I think it goes up to 6 million, 6%, I think is the number.
yeah.
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 So here's the deal, 6% of your database in the best year ever. And I think that scale is what matters. Like, yes, everyone wants 6% more than they want 3% when it comes to getting paid for something or getting a conversion rate, right? And yet, let's just use the 3. If you want to be wild, you can use the 3.17. How many active people do you have in your database right now? So you have to know how many are in your database. How many are not? Okay, here's the other part. Not just the number of when you click on command and you see that number and you're like, I have 7,492. How many do you communicate with on any sort of basis whatsoever? 4 times a year, calling them, inviting them to events, mailing them anything. They would know you on the street if they tripped over you. Whatever definition you want to give. Again, if we go back, you're the business owner, right? How many do you need to have to hit your goal based on the 3% rule so that you will achieve your goal? This is like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle I want you to concentrate on. And when you go to Ashley's 401 class next Thursday, you will learn more about it. If you don't have enough people in your database, you cannot hit your goal, period. Okay, yeah, Sarah, what if someone calls me and they just got a landfall millions of dollars from their great grandfather who died and they want to go buy? Sure, magical moments of time can happen. The world shut down from a global pandemic. No one thought that would happen. So miracles do happen for good and for bad. But let's not plan our business on miracles taking place. Let's plan our business on things that are actually reliable, right? Math. Math is fun because math doesn't lie to us. So, how many do you need to hit your goals? I want you to look at your database, look at the number, and then really look at it. Is it sorted? Is it tagged? Is it A, B, C, D? Please tell me some of those things are true. Do you talk to it at all? It's the perfect time if you want to be communicating in the Consistent quarterly call plan next year, DTD2, do the database too, gives you 2 letters a week to call and text and talk to, and then you don't even have to think about it. You're just like, you want to do all your work in one day? Great. You want to do a little bit every day? It doesn't matter. You have a system to follow. Systems are joyful. Just ask Jacqueline. I didn't used to have the best systems. She made me get some systems. So I want you to really, I'm sitting on this slide for a minute because it matters very, very much. Even in like a slow year, it's been 4 million the past few years, which would have us at that bottom 3%. Right now we're 4.1 million, which would pop us up a little bit, 3.17. How many in your database? And then let's just look at the next slide and see what math does. Because I hated math in school, to be clear. Hated it. I could write an essay better than anybody, but hated math. Here's what's fun about numbers. Patterns come to be, and you don't know that they're going to be there. And then you go and make a slide like this, and you're like, oh my gosh, look what happened. So let's take a gander. Let's use the 3% rule. How many of us remember the 201 club equaling 6 figures in GCI? Why do our agents do 201 on onboarding? Why do we talk about the 201 club? Who remembers ever hearing about the 201 club equaling 6 figures in commissions? Yes, I see heads nodding. Okay, so if I do the 201 club, y'all, and I times 201 people in my database times 3%, I get 6.5 units closed. If we use average, historically average, not things that we would conspire to or work to make true for all, but just historically average, presumed commissions based on historical averages, I said it enough times, that would bring us to 6 figures, right? 6.5. We can't have a half. I mean, you could have a half if you're sharing it with someone, but for the sake of math, even if you go to 6, a flat 6 times $20,000 average commission is $120,000, right? The 201 club, we've learned from command studying all the 175,000 agents in the ecosystem that when you have 201 agents in your database, those people hit 6 figures in commission. Of course, I knew that was true before I made this slide because I know the 201 club exists. I didn't know the 201 times 3% was going to equal 6.5 units. So let's look on the left-hand side numbers and let's look on the right-hand side numbers. If you have 250 people in your database, based on that math, you would close 7.5 units. I want you to think about how many units you've closed in your own mind, in the comfort of your own home, or on the desk, or later on when you're doing this tonight, watching Young Sheldon, and think, how many deals did I close last year? And if I use the 3% rule, what number would that mean I communicated with in my database? And then see if that's true for you. Because if 250 people in your database, you would close 7.5 units. With 500, you'd close 15. With 750, you'd close 22. With 1,000, you would close 30. If you want to close 48 units next year, you would need 1,600 people in your database. Sarah, I only have 201 people. I want to close 48 units. How am I going to find those 1,400 other people to do deals with? That's a lot of open houses. I don't see how that's possible. Sure, those are all great points. Let's look at it. How can you bridge a huge gap? Remember the joy part I talked about earlier? I want you to think outside the box. And remember, you're probably working, like you might have thought what you call work is me being snarky about like you're not actually doing your job. I've been pushing back on people in my 6 figures group and saying, I bet you're actually working more than you realize. You're just not counting it. Like when you're talking to people on the sidelines at your kids' sporting events, or when you're chatting with people at book club or wine night or whatever your things are that you do, pickleball, right? Those conversations count as conversations. Your conversations count as talking to people all the time. However, are they systematic, follow-upable in your database? Can you track it? That's probably the part where it doesn't count as work because you can't make sense of it, right? So how can you bridge a huge gap? Who do you want to be in 2026 to fill your joy bucket? What social clubs, sports clubs, wellness groups, country clubs, mastermind groups do you want to join, right? I went ahead and took a look. Not that I'm a young professional in San Diego. I am over the age of young professionals. Not that they would have ageism. But if I was a young professional or wanted to go do that, There are 1,500 members of the San Diego Young Professionals Group. Well, if I had to grow my database by a large number, there's one group with all those people. How could I put it together and make it work for me? How about your college and university alumni associations? Okay. How about running clubs and pickleball? One of my mentors said they just joined a softball league because they needed to meet people. They're in a city like San Diego. There's 11 people on a team. He's like, if I just need to go find a different league to play every day of the week, and I'll grow my database by 77 people in a small group. The 1,500 young professionals, that's a large group, right? You're probably not going to grow a great relationship with all 1,500, but could you bring value? Could you throw an event? Could you do something? Sure. What is it for you? What will actually bring you joy? Is it a sailing club? Is it a running club? Is it pickleball? Is it a Good Samaritans organization? Not real estate based. Please don't go do a real estate group. That's not the group you're looking to grow through. They already have real estate, right? We're looking to do the groups that aren't real estate based and grow your world through them. Okay. What questions are slowing you down in your business right now, freezing you, or what questions are you left with after this mind meld I just walked you through? Thoughts? Questions? Who knew all the answers to all the questions that were asked? Raise your hand really big and proud. You're not going to, right? That's part of the point. These questions matter very much. Now go do the work to answer them so that you'll know them next time they're asked on Thursday with Ashley in the 401 class.
I have several. The official
Did
family,
someone speak out loud?
my father's surname is Fox, so my full name is Henry George.
Does anyone, are there really no questions? Was it that mind sideways bending that we have no thoughts after that? It's okay if you don't. All commissions are negotiable. Yes, that's true. Yes, that was national, Ashley. All the stats I gave you were macro. Come next week and compare them to micro. That's what we're going to do all the time. I will give you macro data. Ashley gives you micro data. All right, if there aren't truly any questions based on all that, or if you're too shy to ask them out loud, you have my phone number. Text me, write in the Facebook group, send me an email. I want you to really do yourself the favor of pouring through those 3 layers. Do you know the reality of the market? Why does it matter for you and your consumers? Do you know the reality of your money? What has it been historically and what does it need to be next year? Do you know the reality of the work you're doing? Is it serving you? Do you need to find new things? Is your database big enough? Do you need to grow it? If it is the right size, are you feeding it and loving it appropriately?
I think there's
Jacqueline,
a lot of big questions in there, Sarah, so people probably went internal, especially
Yeah.
speaking about their number. I know you and I talked about this earlier this week, and just one more thing that's kind of fascinating. I started being the team leader at Metro in August of 2005. So that was 20 years ago. And at that time, every new agent I talked to said they wanted to earn 6 figures. Well, the economy has changed in 20 years. So if the agents were saying that 20 years ago, we shouldn't, in my opinion, still be using that number because everything else got way more expensive. So it's almost, I would look back and if you've been in the business for a while, think, well, what was living off $100,000 like in 2005 versus now? Like, yeah, you're right, Mike, at least 3 times more. What's interesting is that because our prices have gone up so much, it's probably the same unit count.
Yes. Please do yourself the favor of going internal and doing the work to answer the questions and think about it. Like truly think about it so you can show up and take the time through December to plan and be. We're already working now, right? You're not stopping working. And yet the clarity, when you wake up knowing what to do every day, you'll be excited to do it. And we will continue the 6-figure conversation next week. 6, 7. 6, 7. Anybody? It's okay. That will keep shining next week for Ashley and Stats. Tomorrow's negotiations class with Steve. Be in that room if you are free. If anyone has any questions that are burning inside your brain that you want to talk about one-on-one, if you have a coach, talk to them. If you want to talk to me, please reach out to me. If you have a coach and someone asks me a question, you're always welcome to do that as well. It's a great day to have a great day. Go out and make it true for you. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Toodles.